Hi Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or Venus. This is Dane, and I'm going to be doing your January 1st to the 15th, 2022 reading for you. Now I ask if this reading resonates with you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're interested in any of the cards that I'm using, they will be listed and linked in the description box below. Now before we begin this reading, let us clear the energy space, raising our own energy vibration, and releasing any negativity. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. Releasing all negativity from the body like storm clouds. Letting yourself feel calm, centered, and at peace as we enter into this safe and loving space. Let's see what the tarot has to say. Libra, January 1st to the 15th, 2022, Libra. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. Guide this reading and show me clearly. At the bottom is our rooted self. The left-hand side is our inner self. The middle, our heart, our emotional self. The right-hand side, the public arena, the public self. So let's see what the cards have to say. We have the Death card, which is Scorpio energy, and we have Temperance, which is Sagittarius energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Scorpio, or if we have Scorpio or Sagittarius within our natal chart, that part of our personality is going to be coming out very strongly at the root of us. Then our inner self, we have the Three of Cups, and we have Temperance once again, a very strong Sagittarius energy here. In our emotional self, we have the Two of Wands, we have the Tower, and we have the Ten of Wands. Our public arena self, we have the Wheel of Fortune, things are definitely changing, and we have the Devil, which is Capricorn energy. So let's see what, the astrology has to say all about this. Actually, I'm jumping ahead. Let's see what energy we have to be mindful of. Angels and spirit guides, show me clearly. So we have the Prince of Cups, which is water sign energy, Pisces, Scorpio, Cancer. This is emotional manipulation. This is also, this is a person who leads with their emotions, but also guards their emotions. It's kind of like they are emotion-based and emotionally responsive people. They respond from the heart, from their emotions, from the way that they feel, but they're also going to have a barrier up around themselves. It's like, I'm only going to let you get this close, no closer. And this could also be a way that we're responding to things at this time, and something that we have to be mindful of an emotional response of, okay, I lead with my heart, I lead with my emotions, but I'm only going to let people get so close to me. So just be mindful about this and interacting with people with this emotional response to things, because that's going to be a little bit intense. It's going to be more than we kind of really want to deal with at this time. So, oh goodness, let's look at our chakra energy. angels, and spirit guides show me clearly. So this is holistic health. This is the root chakra. And I love holistic health. It's one of my favorite cards. So this is saying, who are we holistically? Who is and what is the essence of us, Libra? And also, what is it that we need to take care of ourselves? What is it that we need to connect with ourselves? What is it that is leading us forward? Holistic health is a real sense of healing. It's also kind of stepping outside of the box of maybe conformity and embracing, alternative medicine, but also embracing taking care of our diets, taking care of ourselves through vitamins, through exercise, through, a connection with the earth, which I do feel is astoundingly important, and really seeing the world around us and being able to step deeper into that world of ourselves, and also what our body needs, what we need emotionally, spiritually, as an individualized person. So let's look at what the astrology has to say and how that correlates with everything that the cards are bringing up. So we have here strong Sagittarius energy, strong Scorpio energy, and strong Capricorn energy coming through. So on the 1st of January, we have the Sun trine Uranus. Now, this is a wonderful energy to start the year. This is a time when we are comfortable standing in our own element, in our own skin. We're comfortable standing out and embracing who we are. We have no problem expressing our individuality, there we go, I can say that, and should let ourselves shine. There is going to be a sense of, can I shine? There's an emotional insecurity with that coming forward, so just be mindful there. And we also have to realize that a lot of insight is going to come through our dreams, through spirit talking to us in a very quiet, very subtle way. Now, on the 1st of January, we also have Mercury trine the North lunar node. Now, this is another powerful and very positive alignment. Again, a great way to start the year. It is said that our life purpose is echoed between the South and the North lunar nodes. And remember also in astrology, the North lunar node is representative of the head of the dragon, while the South lunar node is representative of the tail. So there's a sense of our bodies being able to communicate with our minds and being part of the spiritual realm and the physical realm really coming forward. Now, this is going to be a time when we enjoy figuring things out, the whys and the how comes about other people, about ourselves. What we also have to be very mindful of is not diving so deep into psychoanalyzing everybody and ourselves, but also just looking at like the core of why people are doing this, what's the atmosphere around them, what's the emotion around them, and then being able to move ourselves forward from there. It's going to be a good springboard, but let's not get lost in it, because Libra, we absolutely can. We're also not going to take anything personally this day. It doesn't mean that we won't take anything personally, but things have a tendency to roll off our back on the 1st of January, which is very nice. On the 2nd of January, we have the new moon in Capricorn, which does come through very strongly here in the public arena self, because we have the Capricorn energy coming forward. Also, on the 2nd of January, we have Mercury entering into Aquarius. Now, Mercury loves being in Aquarius because it's a very positive outlooking, place for Mercury to be. It can see things, it can see the outcomes, it can, really propel itself forward. We do have Mercury going into retrograde on the 14th of January, and this can make things a lot more complex, especially for air sign energy that loves communication. Mercury retrogrades can be a bit much for us, so just be mindful of that. Now, on the 5th of January, we have Venus sextile Neptune. Now, Venus is an important planet for us because we are ruled by Venus. So here, this day is going to be important. We should kind of mark it on our calendars. This is a passionate day when we need to really express our feelings. We will be highly creative and really enjoy surrounding ourselves with beauty. So on this day, to really amplify our own productivity, our own creativity, surrounding ourselves with beauty and surrounding ourselves with things that just like speak to our heart is going to be really important to us. We are also going to exude a charm that will make us very attractive, so we should utilize that to its highest potential. Now, a little bit of self care, a little bit of pampering will go a really long way for enhancing our mood and enhancing our energy vibration. So just be mindful there. Now, on the 8th of January, we have the Sun conjunct Venus, which again is important for us because we are ruled by Venus. This personifies love and peace. We need to surround ourselves with beauty. Once again, that's going to be very important, and give ourselves permission to express our emotions, which we would say, Libra, I usually give myself permission. As Libras, we give ourselves permission to express our emotions, but there's a sense of this wall being up around us and us expressing to a certain point of what we really want, and then either feeling like I don't need to express the rest of it, or it's not important, or if they really knew me, they would be able to understand what I really need. So here it's going to be, okay, listen, if this is what I really need, I need to embrace my holistic self, I need to connect with my root chakra, and I need to have me move forward in that energy and in that power. This is a time that when we are around lower energy vibrational people, that it really affects us negatively. We also have to be mindful of our surroundings and be mindful of the people we let into our lives. On the 10th of January, we have Mercury trine Chiron. Now, this is an harmonious aspect that helps us to heal ourselves and others. We do have to be mindful of carrying it just a bit too far and thinking that we have to be the savior. It kind of gives us a little bit of a savior complex, so do be mindful of this. We have the talent of saying the right thing at the right time. Does that mean that we will always say the right thing on the right time, at the right time on this day? No, it doesn't. But we do have a tendency more towards hitting the nail on the head on this day with our words and our expression. We'll need to follow our own ideas and really embrace ancient wisdom to help us move forward. And I know that sounds counterintuitive. Follow your own ideas, but embrace ancient wisdom. So wouldn't I be following the ideas of the past? It's like, no, I'm stepping into who I am, and I need to listen to my voice, my deeper understanding, the place that I want to be. And we're going to actually just find a lot of solace and an embrace of silence, an embrace of understanding of the self and connection with the self for connecting with ancient wisdom, whether that be conventional wisdom of, traditional religions, whether that be something esoteric or something more nature-based. It doesn't really matter, but to be able to open our minds and our hearts to this is going to be something that's very powerful for us and does give us a different outlook. Now, the 11th of January has the Sun sextile Neptune. This is a powerfully creative time that we have to utilize. I mean, we don't have to, but it will be really great for us if we did. Neptune makes us highly sensitive to our surroundings, so we have to be mindful of who we associate with. And again, our surroundings, what we have around us. So just be aware of this. Neptune brings us into greater contact with our spiritual world and our spiritual self. So that's going to be really important for us. There is also a lot of psychic potential on this day, a lot of instinct, a lot of understanding just through gut feels, and being able to move forward with that energy is going to be very powerful for us. But we can find it also to be very overwhelming if we aren't connecting with the energy of ourselves. The 11th of January also has Mars squared Neptune. Now, Mars is going to be an interesting planet for us because Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. But before Pluto was discovered, and of course Pluto has been taken off the roster, but Scorpio was ruled by Mars. So there is going to be this connection with Mars energy during this time, because we can, either have it be the planetary rule of Pluto or not, but Scorpio, but Scorpio is ruled by Pluto in our modern astrology. So just being aware of that, but Mars does have a vibrant playing aspect during this time and connects with our root energy of Scorpio. This alignment brings powerful, varying energy, meaning that it brings the positive energy of bravery and glamour, but it also brings the not so positive energy of intrigue and scandal. It's very much going to be a day where all that glitters isn't gold. And that's going to be very important for us because even though we're utilizing this creative time, we have to be very mindful of the energy around us. And with the Sun sextile Neptune on the 11th of January, which we just talked about, it gives us a bit of an intuitive understanding to the way that we need to move forward. So here, when we have Mars squared Neptune, that again, we have that understanding, that deeper understanding coming forward, but we need to really be be aware of the varying reality that is around us, and that everything that we see and everything that we perceive isn't necessarily going to be the reality of it. So I know that sounds complicated, but it's just going to be like dive deeper, or don't trust everything at first sight, or don't think everybody has it better than you on this day, because they simply don't. This is a time to listen to our inner voice and to also let ourselves stand apart from the chaos of the world. It's like looking at things and just kind of looking at it like you would a small child, like making a mess, or children playing together, and you go, oh, that's not going to end well, or oh my gosh, they really should have done this instead of that, because what they're going to make is going to tumble down. And we're going to see that kind of aspect in ourselves with society. It's going to be like, why are you doing this? Why are you perpetuating this? What is your purpose? So just being mindful and setting ourselves apart is going to be very important. Now, the 14th of January has Mercury going into retrograde. Now, Mercury will be in the Aquarius energy until the 25th, which really calms down the Mercury retrograde energy. But Mercury will be in retrograde until the 3rd of February, and there will be a separate video done on that. We have the Death card. We have a dying away of the old self, a rebirth of the new. We have transformation coming through quite powerfully and quite intensely during this time. We are going to see ourselves transformed. We are going to see the way that we look at things to be quite different than the way that we have looked at things before. Are we going to be happy with this? Yeah, sometimes we are, and sometimes we aren't. There's going to be a sense of everything is changing around me. How do I change? How do I adapt? How do I embrace what I need? And sometimes with the Scorpio energy, which promotes change within our lives and change within our bodies and change within ourselves, there's energy here that's like, okay, well, how do I deal with it now? How do I deal with it not being the same that I was before? Now, this could be through health reasons. This could be through, relationship reasons, job reasons. There's going to be a sense of change around us. It could be for the best. It's kind of like I'm stepping into myself. I'm shedding an old skin that doesn't fit anymore, and I'm ready for the next adventure that comes. But it can also be terrifying, especially when our world is changing around us and we don't have the confidence to say, yes, I know what I'm stepping into, or yes, I know that I can handle it. But the only way that we know for certainty, or not even for certain, because there's always going to be a bit of doubt around us, but the way that we know that we're stepping into change and that we can kind of hold our own is because we've been through the fires already. We've been through that raw, real transformation that the Death card brings, and we've doubted ourselves. We've felt overwhelmed. We've questioned everything and everyone. And it brings us to Temperance. As we are transforming, as we are empowered, as we're embracing kind of like that mystical energy of Pluto, as well as the warrior energy of Mars, we find ourselves embracing Temperance. We find ourselves finding our balance. We also find ourselves finding our voice. We might actually surprise ourselves with the way that we're moving forward and what it is that we're going after. We can surprise ourselves at what we think is really great and what no longer has relevance to us. We're having a balance of the waking world and the subconscious world, the world that we live in and the world that we want to live in. There's a sense of change around us. There's a sense of power around us. There's a sense of coming together with the masculine and feminine aspects of ourselves, but also what's done under the sun, what's done under the moon, the sun, the moon, the phases of our lives and the way that we're moving forward. And as we're finding our footing here, it brings us to the Three of Cups. And the Three of Cups is tricky energy for me. Now, yes, in traditional tarot readers, it's like this is celebration, this is coming together of family and friends, and yes, that is true. Okay, to a certain point. But for me, always when I read this card, it comes out as I'm bringing forward the energy of people who didn't celebrate me, of people who turned their back on me, on people who were supposed to be by my side but couldn't. And this can be from when we were little. This could be a parent that walked out on us. This could be from a relationship where we were head over heels in love with somebody and they just didn't reciprocate. This could be from a teacher who told us, we were stupid. It doesn't matter how this wound comes. It can come from friends. It could come from siblings. It could come from anybody. But this wound comes forward and it makes it harder to trust. Like walls get built up. It makes us harder to trust ourselves as we move forward, as we go after what we want, as we see what we desire. What we have to look at here is, why are those words haunting us? Did we believe them? Were we young and, naive enough to think that this person held the answers? Did we also think, okay, they're giving me harsh truths because they need me to step into reality? What is here? How am I moving forward? What is it that I desire? And then it's being able to look at things and say, who are the people who rally around me? In psychology, they teach you that a child will go after the approval of the less present parent, right? Or of the parent that doesn't give them the time or the care that they need. because they're desperately seeking their approval. And every part of us has that little child coming forward that says, well, if this person doesn't love me or this person doesn't like me, I have to win them over. But what about the parent or the person or the guardian or, the people who have stood by us? Do we kind of write them off and say, well, you'll always be there, and I don't have to work for your love, for your attention, but I have to work for this. And what I have to work for obviously has more worth to it because, they're showing me something real about me. And it's not that they're showing us something real about us a lot of the time. They're showing us something real about themselves. And that's going to be a very interesting thing to come to the conclusion of and have to really embrace and really see and really understand. So who stands by us that we think, oh, you're always going to be there? And who do we have to fight for, have to fight to even get noticed by them and think, oh, well, that's the person that I need their attention. Why? Why do we do this? Why do we need it? There's going to be a sense here of really embracing, caring, and nurturing, but doing so in a way that helps us to call forward the caring and the nurturing within ourselves. And that brings us to a place of balance within ourselves. It's like we're not letting one part get better than the other or more attention than the other within our psyche, within ourself, within the internal conversation that we have with us. We're finding balance, we're finding understanding, we're finding harmony, we're calling certain things out and saying, you know what, this isn't right for me. We're calling other things out and saying it is right for me. Why am I listening to the mocking, hurtful words of others? It might not be right for them. But if this is my truth, if this is my passion, if this is what I desire, then I'm going to, pick up what I want and move forward with it. There is a beautiful sense of balance coming here. And there's a beautiful sense of this balance within us. And that's why we have, the male head and the female head coming forward. We have this beautiful sense of this is who I am. And I am not entirely female, just like we cannot live primarily off of female energy or primarily off of male energy. We're not entirely male either. We have to be the coming together of the both of them, meaning that there are points in our lives where we need to be caring, where we need to be nurturing, where we need to be compassionate, where we need to listen better. And there are times in our lives where we need to be more focused, we need to be more driven, we need to be more, this is how the job is done. And yes, these are very stereotypical aspects of masculinity and femininity, but they have validity to them, or else they wouldn't be stereotypes that every single person understands. And it brings us to the Two of Wands. It brings us to being able to look out into the world, to being able to look out at what we want. And part of us is looking at the future. Now we can get really caught up in what the future will bring for us and how we can move forward in just the right way. But there's also this sense of I'm moving towards something more than what I had before. There is a sense of I'm not held back by these walls, by this confinement, by this hurt, by this pain, by everything that had defined my life. Now I'm starting to see so much more. And I'm starting to see that I hold the world, I hold my future in my hands. And it's about my action, it's about my responsibility, it's about my determination that sets me apart. And it brings us to the Tower within our hearts. There is a wound here that we have definitely been through. And the Tower is saying we've been thrown out of our comfort zone. Spirit has said, ready or not, here it comes. And we're trying to land on our feet. We're trying to understand. We're trying to see ourselves more and more and more. The Tower brings chaotic emotions. The Tower has us saying, well, if I could only get my feet under myself, if only I could get my footing, if only I could understand. And what Spirit is saying is that sometimes we're not meant to understand. We're not meant to have all the answers. And that's not a bad thing at all. The Tower is growth. The Tower is power, because the Tower is pushing us out of the place that we would be comfortable. It's kind of like when you leave your parents' home, right? For some of us, it's like, yes, I'm out, I'm done, I'm moving forward. For others of us, it's like, oh my gosh, this is terrifying. How do I do this? How do I do that? You find yourself calling up your parents and being like, how do I, use the washing machine or some such nonsense as this that you thought you'd be able to handle all on your own. And so here, it's a good thing, and it is an overwhelming thing all at once, and a bad thing all at once. It marks the transformation. And as we are transforming, we are finding ourselves more and more and more. And as we are transforming, we're looking at things. Now, this could be a Tower time that has been a 16-year process. This can be a Tower time that happened 16 years ago, and we're still trudging our way forward, still trying to get to that solid ground, trying to get to that place of prosperity and abundance that we feel would never come. And as we're doing this, we're finding ourselves, we're finding our voice, we're figuring out why all this nonsense had to happen, why we had to go through all this hurt, all this pain, all this disappointment. And it brings us to the Ten of Wands. We've carried the weight of the world on our shoulders. And as we've carried the weight of the world on our shoulders, we're going to find that we put too many burdens on ourselves, or we thought we had to do certain things at certain times. We're going to find that we're releasing that sense of this is what needs to be done. This is how I need to move forward. This is the confinement and the power that is me, and it's only going to be in this sphere. So what we're doing here is we're releasing the wands from us. We're coming to the end of a cycle when it comes to our passion, when it comes to our creativity, when it comes to work even, and we're saying, I get to see the sun. Like, I get to turn my face to the sky, not weighed down with so much that the only thing that I see is the mud on my shoes. And there's like no hope because I'm just drudging forward. I'm just putting one foot in front of the other, trying to get to the place that I need to be. There's going to be a massive shift within our heart. Why? Because there's a massive shift within ourselves. We're starting to find our footing. It's not necessarily, oh my gosh, I have all the answers. It's, wow, some things have become clearer. And it's, wow, I've really found what I want, even if it's just one thing, even if we're saying something abstract, like I want happiness. Okay, then we have to boil it down. What does happiness mean to me? What does success mean to me? What does, what does creativity and power and insight mean to me? Now, for some of us, it's being a CEO of a company. For others of us, it's being self-sustaining on a plot of land, and having your own farmstead. So it can be vastly different. But as we relieve the burdens that we've been carrying, as we see the change for what it is, powerful, insightful, and life-affirming, it moves us to the Wheel of Fortune. Our public arena, our public world is changing. And that's just it. It's a repeat of the number 10, right? Because we have the 10 of Wands. The Wheel of Fortune is the 10th card in the major arcana. And we're going to see ourselves really embracing a change. And this change affects us career-wise. It affects the way that we're seeing things. It affects the way that we value our own worth, or the way that we quantify our own worth. And here with the 10 of Wands, we're really going to see ourselves embracing, not with the 10 of Wands, with the Wheel of Fortune, we're going to see ourselves feeling a bit out of our element, feeling like the world is changing and we just can't keep up, or we don't understand why things are changing a certain way. There's going to be an aspect of relinquishing control that's going to be very important to us. It's like, if I release the control, if I release the way that I think I should be doing things, and start to really embrace the change that is coming, the way that I kind of have to ride the wave to see where life will take me, how I will be moving forward, that becomes the game changer here. And as we do this, we see ourselves entering into a new season. We see ourselves being able to see the glimpses of the future that our heart is holding for us. We see ourselves being able to understand ourselves more, where it could have felt like we got away from ourselves just a little bit. We got caught up into somebody else's story or somebody else's ideal. And it moves us to the Devil. Now, this card here represents Capricorn energy. It does represent us being very connected with the earth. There is going to be an element of being very connected with the earth, very connected with, the here and the now. But what we also have to be very mindful of is what we are chained to, what has defined us for too long. These are the things that are negative. These can be addictions. These can be, poor coping mechanisms that we've developed from childhood. And this is going to be a time where we're looking at things and it's like, if it doesn't add to my life, why do I have it? We tend to build walls around ourselves. Some people do it in a very visual way. They'll have a lot of clutter. They'll have a lot of kind of like physical walls around them because this is my space. This is what I'm protecting myself from, the outside world. And other people tend to do it more abstractly. They could, drink too much, or, well, that would be kind of concrete too, but in a way that maybe we can't pinpoint right away. They could smoke too much. They could, do something that lets them be able to escape reality while still being a part of it and not seeming like, they're escaping. So we have to be open and honest with ourselves with our escape mechanisms, and also why we need them. Why is it that we feel chained to a certain thing? What is it that we feel chained to? What is it that we're trying to break free of? And this is going to be a time where we start to set ourselves free, where we start to say, you know what, that's not for me anymore. Or you know what, this isn't what I desire. And as we set ourselves free, we see ourselves more and more. And we are empowered and we are emboldened, and we move forward in a greater sense of, I was chained to the expectations of society. I was chained to the expectations of myself. This is what I thought success was, and it had to look this certain way. And if it didn't fit this mold, it wasn't success. And so if we didn't fit that mold, we weren't successful. In the public arena, we're seeing a new leaf turn over. And this happens because we're holistically connecting with who we are. with what we desire from the world and ourselves. And it leads us to our subconscious energy to be mindful of, which is the Queen of Cups. This is a person who's very skilled at emotional manipulation. This is a more mature person. This is a person who dives deeply into things, but this is a person whose path is different than yours. But you're going to think, okay, they seem to have answers. Why don't I follow them like hook, line, and sinker? And this is going to be a time where we need to realize that the spiritual journey is astoundingly personal. It brings us to our subconscious chakra energy, which is rebirth. Now, this is the Earth Star chakra located 6 inches below our feet. We are being reborn into our power. We are being transformed. And this is a time of profound transformation. It's almost like we're stepping into the new year as a new person. We could feel like a new person. And the year 2022 is the angel number 222. It is the number of new beginnings, and it is a time where we need to embrace these new beginnings for us. It moves us to the subconscious rooted energy, which is strength. Now, this is Leo energy. This is a sense of power. This is a sense of strength through connection, through also authority, and, asserting our dominance. Now, I'm not saying that this is bodybuilder strength, because that's not what it is. It's not sitting there and looking at that person and saying, wow, that person is super strong. Obviously, I'll listen to them. The strength card is a subtler strength. The strength card always makes me think of Thecla. If you read I think it's in Greek Orthodoxy, or in Christian Orthodoxy, it is the story of Thecla and Paul, right? And Thecla is this woman who's proselytizing with Paul. And Paul always runs away when they're about to get arrested. And Thecla winds up getting arrested. And she goes through these ordeals and is saved by divinity. Like lions come around her. Well, the female lions come around her and save her from being eaten by the male lions. And everybody's shocked, and they're so shocked that they set her free. But when you looked at her, when she was captured, you would think of a woman who was frail. You would think of a woman who couldn't stand up for herself. And this is that type of energy. It's kind of like on the outside, you would think, oh no, this person couldn't possibly. But then on the inside, there's determination, there's iron in them, there's focus, there's insight. And this is through love, this is through dedication, this is through, a purpose of soul and of self, and of saying there's more to life than just what we see. And it brings us to our subconscious inner self, which is the Hangman. We don't see things the same way anymore. This is a time of tremendous insight. This is a time of things being very different. We can think ourselves wrong. Like everybody sees things one way, yet we see things the other. And this is just going to be a time where it's like, yeah, I can see things differently and not be wrong. The public arena with its 2 major arcana cards is going to be quite intense. And the fact that we have a major arcana card in each section during this time, even at the root, even though they're only major arcana cards, this means this time is much more intense than we're going to realize. But it's going to be more subtle in its intensity. Again, we don't see things the same way as we did before. This might have us questioning a lot of things, because a lot of questions do come up, and a lot of personal power, personal understanding, and saying, okay, what do I see, and what is powerful, right, important for me? It brings us to our subconscious emotional self, and that is the Hermit. This is Virgo energy. So if we're born on the cusp with Virgo, or have Virgo within our chart, it comes forward very powerfully subconsciously. It's going to be a subconscious way that we're leading things, just as the Leo energy is going to be. The Virgo energy here is saying turn inward, and also see how we transform, see how we're shedding a skin. Also, we're coming to a realization that the things that we once thought were absolutely undeniably important, we might start to say, it doesn't have the same worth to it. It doesn't have the same value to it that I once thought it did. And it brings us to our subconscious inner self, and this is the Chariot, Cancer energy. So again, if we have Cancer energy within our natal chart, it comes through very powerfully here at a subconscious level in our public arena. We're moving forward with the heart really being spoken to. We're moving it forward with a sense of, what do I emotionally need? Who am I emotionally? What is the power of me? And there's this real power of our subconscious, because our subconscious is all major arcana cards. So this is going to be a time where we have to find that balance between the conscious and the subconscious self, because both are so strong. Actually, the subconscious and realization coming through our dreams is going to be so powerful, which is funny because that's how we start off January. This is January 1st with the Sun trine Uranus. We're being told that a lot of insights come through our dreams. A lot of insights during this time come through our subconscious. And so so we need to listen to ourselves. We need to write down our dreams when we wake up. We need to, listen to the voice in our head as we're daydreaming and maybe jot that down, or, speak it into our phone, however we do so. And there's going to be a freedom that comes with that. But there's also a huge shift during this time. Things are changing, and we are more than ready for that change. We are going to have a tendency to want to hold ourselves back, to have built walls around ourselves that we don't want to fall down, because we've already been through that, and it's been scary and it's been overwhelming. But divinity is again pushing us out of our comfort zone and making us face a lot of the demons that have held us back for way too long. All right. All right, Libra. I hope this reading has resonated with you. I wish you nothing but light, love, peace, and happiness. May harmony always be with you. I'm sending loving, healing energy to each and every one of you. I love you all, and stay safe. Let's end this reading with a meditation, a clearing away of negative energy, a raising of our positive energy as we embrace the power and the intensity of this time. So take a nice deep breath in, exhaling whenever it feels comfortable for you. May you move forward in peace and in harmony, Libra.